4.
You lost count.
All right, guys, here we go. Welcome to episode 4 of the Vaquero Up podcast. And again, man, we're fired up with, the way things have been going, the way we had it last week, we had it at the ballpark, man. That was new territory for us. It's something we had never done, something we never thought we were going to do. And it went pretty darn good, man. And we were really excited then already. Coach Fennell was awesome, of course. He was brand new. And it was really, really cool to have him on the show, being one of the first guys to kind of going in there and interviewing him. But we are extremely excited today for obviously the guy you see here in front of and next to us. I mean, I don't think he needs an introduction, and I think everybody's seen
give it to him
exactly.
anyhow.
Hold on, I'm not done.
No.
I'm not done.
Definitely not me.
But before we get started, man, let's go.
Wait.
He's giggling and blushing at the same time.
Damn, man.
It's like it's almost as bad as a salsa.
I was in the zone, and this guy.
Okay, start again. Well, start from the beginning.
Can do whatever you want.
Good evening, everybody. That's Fabian.
But again, real quick, guys, just to go, Ben Gonzalez over there in the corner, owner of G3 and co-owner of Vaquero Outfitters. We got the big man right here, of course, George Rice, one of the owners of 5x5, and myself, Fabian Hernandez, one of the owners of 7 Day Addiction. And, of course, without any introduction, I'm still going to do it because Ben will get mad at me. Yeah, you got Coach Bush, man, the new head coach of the Vaqueros, man. Here we go.
Push the button.
All right, cool deal, man. Let's hit the ground running. I know Coach is it doesn't matter which one.
It's that button, that club horn.
Or the high-pitched scream.
Or the Chuck Norris kick. Is that,
that's
did you
your
download
recording,
that one already?
Yeah, it is mine.
The high-pitched scream is going to be George. But here we go, man. Coach, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time off, man. I know you're a busy guy. I know you just came back from a recruiting trip, and you've been up and down, man. I really appreciate you taking the time coming over here, man.
I'm fired up to be here, and this is the best setup. This is the best setup right here, man.
There you go, man. Thank you so much. And again, yeah, definitely, guys, having our Vaquero beer here by 5.
Don't forget your 5x5,
5x5.
ladies and gentlemen.
Here we go. We'll hit the ground running with the first question, Coach. And again, it's going to be real simple. Give us a little bit of background on yourself, man. Where are you coming from? Obviously, this is, a big job for you, but, what's your history looking like?
Yeah, no doubt. Again, my father was a head high school coach for 42 years, so growing up around it and been around it and always been around the game. And really, going back to my first memories of football were in the Valley when he was a head coach at PSJ High in the 80s. And, back then, I'm in elementary school, and back then every town only had one team. And so my first memories of football were going to these sold-out football games across the Valley, fans everywhere, the passion, just seeing that, as a young child really sparked, a passion for football. Yeah. Just the games and the fan, which, and then you fast forward, 40-some years now, and it's the same. That passion, still lives in the Valley. But we moved out of the Valley and up at Alice, and then I graduated from Gregory Portland, up there by Corpus, and played for him there, and then had the opportunity to go play at Southwest Texas. And he actually came back down, coached at Donna for a few years, and then he took the San Marcos job because I was playing there, so he wouldn't have to drive. And first year out of college, got a chance to coach for him there at San Marcos, and you kind of committed to being a high school coach, and then got a call from an old coach at TCU, and got an opportunity to get on staff there as a GA in 2001 with Patterson when he first got there, and so kind of sparked that piece of the career, and was able to blessed to work around some great guys and great people, and came back to Texas State and coached there, and then had the opportunity to start UTSA from scratch. Yep. Been in this situation before as an assistant, and and then had an opportunity to go to University of Houston and spend a year with the Buffalo Bills in 2015. And always a passion of mine too. I had 2 boys. And played for my dad. I wanted to coach my boys, so there was always the plan to go back to high school when they got into high school, and so went to Seguin when Earlis was a freshman, and then was at New Braunfels Canyon, and again just committed to being a high school coach, coaching my younger son there, and then get a random text from Chase Conk out of the blue, and so that's a funny story. He they were doing their research, and he sent me a text that he was at our game the night before, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Then a couple weeks later, he was at the game again, and then and then after our season was over, got a phone call about this deal, so couldn't pass it up. Since they started talking about football here, and you know, my family being from down here and always growing up around the valley and down here, I mean, I'm as big a fan as anybody, you know, and I was fired up that, you know, UTRGV is getting football and long overdue. And, you know, so I was always excited. And then to have the opportunity to be in the conversation was pretty cool. And then the way it worked out is just kind of real humbling and excited to be here. But it's, you know, kind of unexpected twist in the career. But, you know, God leads you on a path, and excited to be down here and back around family. And so we're fired up.
That's awesome. And so you went from the high school level to the college level, then back to the high school level. Man, that's awesome. And that change, I mean, is it difficult for you to, God dang it, George?
Sorry, I'm trying to tag.
You got one job. Just sit there. So going from the high school to the college, back to the high school, does that change anything perspective-wise? Does that change, I guess, the way you coach, you know, the player? You know, is it something where you just go straight through it?
Yeah, you know, it's kind of different. You learn to tailor fit things because you have who you have. You know, you don't get to go pick your players in high school, so you you learn to build your system and philosophies to tailor fit your personnel.
Yeah.
And but really, you know, coaching's coaching. You know,
Yeah,
I love
100%.
it. Doesn't matter what age. It's still the same. You know, you're still developing men and you know, trying to be a positive influence on them.
100%.
So that's one thing I kind of noticed. You brought up Chase earlier, kind of coming out there and kind of sticking toes in the water. And one thing that a lot of us notice here and we talk about is that he's real strategic in his planning and overall vision. And somehow you're a big piece of that. How did those initial conversations go? Because I know it was a real short pool that he had narrowed down before he reached out. So I know when that conversation had to happen, he pretty much already had his mind laser focused on you. How did those initial conversations go regarding, hey, we want you to start this off? I know you had a history for it with UTSA and look at their success and everything.
Yeah, it was just, you know, because you know how some of these things work, and obviously you know him, and really all programs are doing the research ahead of time. And I remember getting a text from him in the summer before our last season. I was like, you know, kind of weird. Then like, you know, Seth Jones started following me on Twitter, and you start seeing all these people, and then so it was kind of you know, kind of interesting. I never thought, you know, I would be in the conversation. You know,
Did it ever come off to a point that I feel like I'm being stalked?
No. But
We can call the police department right
after
now.
after he said he came to a couple of games, I remember telling him, I was like, maybe they are kind of looking, you know, because they are doing the research. And then you got a phone call towards the end of the season, and really you got a phone call from you know, one of the consultant that was kind of you know, reaching out to all the candidates and left a message, and you know, I didn't call him back for a while, you know, because I'm big on you. I'm going to focus on where we're at, and we're getting ready for, you know, competing for a district championship, going in the playoffs, and I remember it took a few days, and I texted the guy back and said, hey, I appreciate it, I'd love to talk, but I'm going to wait till our season's over. And so you know, and then you know, it's funny now. Me and Chase will laugh about it. Like, you know, to him, he thought I wasn't interested, and I'm just trying to focus on our kids there, you know. So it was then we ended up getting knocked out. And then we talked the next day, but yeah, it was funny because he was thinking I wasn't interested, and I was just trying to work on our
Trying
team
to
there.
focus on his
That's
season.
badass. I mean, it's cool because I think Chase accepted my friend request, so maybe that means that he wants me as a
There
player.
it is.
I don't know. I mean, I put in as a running back, but I don't know if it'll work.
Yeah.
He followed me,
reason.
so that's badass.
He's got a reason.
Yeah.
to say that.
You're starting a synchronized swimming program here, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah,
correct.
dude,
That
that's
is
it.
Oh,
correct.
I'm a 4-year.
That's your way in.
100%,
That's your way
man.
in.
Cool deal, man. So, I mean, I know you touched a little bit on your dad, and I mean, obviously, you come from a football family, and I just say football in general, but obviously, you're coming from a football coaching family.
Yeah.
You know, was that something that was just, I don't want to say pressed upon, but was that something expected, or is that just something you saw and said, man, that's what I want to do? Of course, you mentioned, you know, seeing what football was here in the Valley, but, you know, was it a big influence with that?
Nah, you know, growing up in the '80s, you always, you know, in the Top Gun days, I wanted to be a fighter pilot. You know, I wanted to go to Air Force. And
There you go.
Be a
Air
fighter
Force.
pilot. Yeah.
You have to go Top Gun, man. You have to be Navy to be a fighter pilot.
So, but then ended up, you know, going to Southwest Texas, and it was really kind of, you know, and he'd always tell me, you don't need to be a coach, go make some money somewhere, but because you're never home, you know, you're away from family a lot, and really it took about 2 years into college, and I couldn't see myself doing anything else. You know, when I was playing, I loved the game, and you know, had some good coaches, and really, you know, and probably going back to the years of growing up around my dad's programs, and then seeing kids that he coached 10, 15 years ago come back and tell him how much of an influence he was on them. You know, that seeing that about around that time when I was in college kind of made me want to, you know, do something where you can have an impact on young men.
Yeah, 100%.
Hey, Coach, tell us about your approach to. I mean, obviously, with coaching under your dad, coaching high school, doing your own thing in high school, and coaching at TCU as well. All of that, you take bits and pieces from all that to create your program.
No doubt. Yeah. You kind of, and again, blessed to be around some great coaches and not just head coaches but assistants and having all those influences, and you take some from everybody and then you kind of fit it into your personality, and this is who I am, who we're going to be about, and what I believe in, or and then you surround yourself with a staff that believes in the same thing, and we got a great staff, just phenomenal. And we talked a minute ago of how things are kind of falling into place right now, and things seem to be exceeding expectations, and that's one of them is the quality of coaches we're able to get down here and get around these men. So
yeah, I've met a few of those coaches, and these guys are ready to go. I mean, they're just they hit the ground running. I mean, we're not even in football season yet, and they're getting after it
They
already.
just hit the ground running. They're in a full sprint marathon.
Yeah.
I went by the field house, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, and I walked in just see how everything was going. And these guys, middle of the day, all of them are in their war room, and they're talking, like they're going over like, hey, this is how they're talking about recruiting and just strategically how they're going to go out and be time effective. Like, hey, hit this place first and here, then we have this combine and stuff, and like middle of the day and middle of the week, and they're going at it, and you guys coming back and forth with different information. I'm like, and then the clock is what really got me. So some people know, but not a lot of people know. When you walk into your office, what's the first thing that people see up on the wall?
The countdown clock to the
Countdown
first game.
clock, yeah.
It just cracked under 500 days this week.
There you go.
But think how impactful that is. You first see it 600. Oh, okay, no big deal. And then, next thing you observe it, and you're like, oh shit.
Well, we're 500 days away.
It's
500.
498 now.
Well, 498,
so it makes you
right?
want to get to work, and that thing's always running. You get in there, you feel like you need to get to work.
But think about this for one quick second. Think about walking into the stadium, day one, looking. I mean, you're gonna have a sellout crowd.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
And running through that tunnel out there, and that's got to give you some chills.
Oh yeah. It's we visualize it. I've probably visualized it 1,000 times, and we'll continue to do it 1,000 more before we get there. So it's and then they're obviously going to start some construction pieces on the stadium. So once that stuff gets going, and our practice facility is going fast. So it's every day. When you see that, you drive up the office, you see that progress, and you know it's coming. Again, it's coming. It'll be here before you know it.
You gotta have some pride, man, because it seems like, I mean, you do have a lot of input on the field house, on the stadium. Even I think now, I mean, and that's going to be forever. Like that's a decision that's going to be made forever. I mean, so it's pretty cool that you get to have that now. Are you doing that based on, your personal background of like, okay, I didn't like this from this stadium, I didn't like this from this field house?
It's a lot of pieces, and again, Chase Conk takes the lead on everything, and he's phenomenal and does a great job. And we got a team, we got architects and guys that have built stadiums across the nation. So there's a lot of input from a lot of people. But yeah, we got a good team, and they've been real proactive on this, anticipating the purchase of the stadium. So there's already these plans in place, and they should start working pretty quick.
I've seen a lot of the renderings. One thing that caught my attention was the emphasis that you guys put on recovery. And you're on the medical side.
No doubt.
I'm like, wow, the physical therapy and stuff, because I know that's a huge component of football. You get beat up, you're going into battle, and I saw that, like, wow, they aren't playing around on that side of the house.
Yeah, when you got, you talk about, competing for championships at some point, and that's a big key in competing for championships is being healthy through the season, or being able to recover and keeping guys healthy. And then, we're about to hire a strength coach, and that piece of getting the bodies right, and the strength and the speed and everything you need to.
Who's the strength coach?
To not only prevent injuries, but take care of them when you do get them. Can't say yet, but we're about to hopefully lock it up by the end of this week.
Awesome. And again, now that you're saying that, in regards to, obviously you have some expectations, you have something that you're looking forward to, and we just mentioned that you came back from a recruiting trip, and obviously, I'm sure you get film, you get videos, all these players and stuff like that, and seeing their abilities, seeing how they play the position and so forth is obviously, I don't want to say obvious, but you can see it on film. What is that one thing when you go visit to this kid, this athlete? What's that one thing you're actually looking at that doesn't show up on film?
You're really a lot of things you can't coach. you know, that leadership, the work ethic, the mentality, you know, and like right now we're in this next signing class, we're going to sign one quarterback. Okay. There's probably 75 on our list right now that we like, you know, across the state. So now it's going through and decipher. Obviously, other people on some of these guys too. So some of these guys may go to bigger schools, and then you start looking at eliminators, you know, whether it's academics or, you know, things like that, and you start the list starts diminishing, but then you start honing in on a few more. You have phone conversations with all of them, and you get a feel for the mentality, and then so you start keep a ranking, and then, you know, like we'll go visit them in the homes, go see their families, and you try to find out as much as you can. I mean, it's a huge investment, and especially at that position. But we do that for every position. But you know, we got all our coaches on the road right now recruiting, and they're you know, they'll be in 6 to 8 high schools a day, and watching all the athletic periods and watching the guys and watching them work, and, you know, not just how they are athletically, but, you know, how do they, you know, how are they in line, how do they work, how do they hustle, how do they talk. It's a chance to not only, you know, it really, to me, recruiting is about relationships and connections, and so, you know, it's really for us a chance to get down and really the family get to know us get to know them. We're also evaluating everything. We look at everything in the house. You know, you can find out, you know, pieces on, you know, how they're raised, what's important at home, you know, who's kind of helping make the decision for college. So you try to again evaluate and pick up on as much as you can. But the big thing is more of just getting to know them getting to know us. You know, more than just a sales pitch. You know,
so that's huge.
Yeah, yeah.
That part of the puzzle is huge.
Oh, no doubt. You know, we want to make sure we, you know, anyone that we sign and offer, we want to get in their home, we want to talk to them, we want to get to know who they are.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a big piece. You know, especially nowadays, we want to bring in guys that want to compete and want to stay here.
Yeah.
You know, and want to finish out here.
Some of the other coaches here at UTRGV say, hey, like the trick is bring them down here.
Oh yeah.
Bring them down here. Let them see what we got to offer, and it's almost a home run after that.
Yeah.
When you say them, are you talking about the family or just the player?
Everybody. Yeah, it was the same way with some of our coaches. Like, guys, just come down here. Like, trust me, you know, they hadn't been down here before, you know, because they think if it's just a bunch of border communities, you know, they don't see it's a metroplex, and you've got everything you have in San Antonio, Austin, Houston, you know, all the amenities. I think the visit, the mom I was at last night, she's like, so they have a Target there? I was like, yes. Yeah, we got everything. We got restaurants. We got Topgolf. We got, you know, there's all kinds of stuff. They just haven't been down here. It's not what you see on the news. And so, but yeah, once they get down here and they see the area, the people, the campus, and I mean, they fall in love, and it's great.
I mean, I figure it's hard. I mean, you have to make the athlete kind of buy into the program, but as a college coach, I mean, recruiting, you have to make everybody buy into the program, not just the kid, not just the athlete, and you got to make the family, you know, buy in. And it's awesome to see. I mean, we obviously been, and I'm sure he's experienced it, and we experienced it, you know, the selling of New Vaquero, you know, apparel. I get some of the families come in with the recruits, and they're fired up. Yeah. I mean, they're excited, and so it's obvious that they've already bought in. You know, they've come in, they buy stuff just because they want to be a part of the program. You know, and so obviously you guys are doing a great job with a lot of these recruits where, you know, everyone's buying into the program. I think that's a very important aspect.
And it's important too for the parents. And again, that goes back in the home visits and building a relationship, because they gotta trust us. Because in reality, we're gonna see their kid for the next 4 years more than they are.
100%.
So they gotta feel confident with the men they're passing their sons off to.
So you've been down here in the Valley on and off.
George has an important question.
No, I'm not asking.
You guys right now when you hit the mic, I said,
you know
5x5 is my favorite.
It was a serious question, but you messed it all up.
Oh, did I? Okay, let's
You
start
didn't see
again.
his face?
Cut, and yeah, I don't know.
Intensity and stuff.
I knew it was coming.
Nipples glaring.
Start all over.
Here we go.
Here we go, George.
3, 2,
I totally
1.
forgot where I left off at, though. That's
So ask the other question then.
Okay, so you know, being down here in the Valley, have you? And we talked about this a couple shows ago. Have you kind of seen the energy ramping up? Because, you know, when they initially announced, we're like, okay, it's going to be, you know, media frenzy and it's going to die down. But one thing that we noticed, it hasn't died down. The intensity is just steamrolling ahead. Yeah. What's your take on that? Actually, you know what? How do you envision this first season? I'm not talking about wins or loss. How do you envision this first season rolling out? I mean, it's already there. It's going to be the first games are going to be sold out. That's there. How do you envision community involvement, the team involvement, and all that stuff rolling out the first year? Because I mean, you're setting a precedent.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be huge. I mean, you can imagine. It's just, I know there's, again, you talk about visualizing, you know, turning off the highway on the Freddie, driving the stadium and just seeing smoke and all the pits and the people and the orange and you know, just the pageantry of everything and the the stands and the stadium. And again, it's not just a game; it's an event. And nothing brings people together more in the world than sports, and nothing brings people more together more in Texas in football, especially college football down here. Yeah. And so it's you can just imagine the excitement, the people, the student section, the band. I mean, everybody involved, and it's just going to be a community event. And then again, the entire valley is going to be on board. They are on board. They're excited. We're excited. Every day again, you walk in that office and that countdown clock's running, and it's just it's that mentality, that pride in what you do down here of making sure we work our tails off to put a product on the field that people can be proud of. Because they're going to be involved, they're going to be excited, and they're going to love them. They're going to love the Vaqueros, but we do want to put a product that they can walk out and be proud of.
Yep. That's awesome. On that note, Fabian, you might want to. I think that it's we're at 3,500 season ticket sold already. Yeah. Stadium is 10,000.
I think so.
So those of you that have not reserved, I think it's $25 to reserve the season ticket. You got to reserve it now because these things are going to sell out. And I know that you guys are committing X amount of tickets just to students alone.
Yeah, and then you got to give some to the visitors, and you got space for the band, so it's not.
Yeah,
it's
so
not
get your tickets. Get your tickets.
So mark my word, this is what's going to happen. It's going to be sold out. They're going to have to bring like a jumbotron, like one of those things outside. I guarantee it. They're going to have to.
Sponsored by 5x5.
Shit, hey, you're getting over it. Sponsored by G3, dude. Come on, Vaquero Outfitters, you guys got this.
Yeah, George,
go ahead, Fabian.
George Nostradamus over here.
No, but mark my word.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, I've seen that before, where they have to. It's so packed that this jumbotron outside for because you still get the energy. That's going to happen. These tickets are going to sell out long before the game.
I mean, that's what we're hoping at least. I mean, I think it's obviously it's obvious.
It's gonna direction.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. But I know you mentioned, Coach, Texas football is different, and it is. I think everybody in the country is going to, I think even agree with that, even if you're not from Texas. But, when you're looking at these players, obviously you're looking at a quarterback different, you're looking at a lineman different, you're looking at all these different positions different. But is there one particular characteristic, and it's something that we used to say, when we coach was, is he Texas tough? Yep. And what is that one thing you see? Okay, that kid is Texas tough. That kid is a dog.
Yeah, and that's a big piece of what the main thing we look for, and we talk about it is toughness. That toughness, not just physical toughness, that mental toughness. Guys that love to work, that aren't afraid to do hard things, that know how to handle situations, respond with toughness. They don't make excuses. They don't complain. And of course we have to instill that culture. But if we can find guys that already buy into that are just tough dudes that love to work, they love to play the game. They're not asking for NIL money. They just want a chance to get on the field, be a part of history. And we found a bunch of those guys in this first class. But bottom line, everyone, there's a lot of guys talented out there, but we want the tough guys on our team.
So one other thing I'd like to discuss, we have, we're in the Valley. There are some negative people down here, and a lot of people were initially when the football program got launched, a lot of people were like, oh, there's not going to be any Valley athletes. And that's one thing I noticed. And I'm big into college football. I love watching high school kids move up to that level. And one thing I noticed down here in the Valley is that we produce a certain amount of NCAA Division I, Division II athletes a year. And you guys have already locked in 9 Valley athletes for your all's program just starting off.
We got 9 out of this first class. And I've, I always, being at the places I was at, I always recruited down here. I always came down here, really because not many recruiters came down here. And been from down here, and you always feel like that you're kind of left out. So I always made sure to come through, and we took some guys out of the Valley at places I were at. But I think and obviously you look across the state of Texas, and there's a lot of guys out there. There's a lot of different talent levels out there. But I think there's always enough. There's always a few down here, and like I said, I always thought about between 6 to 10. And we got 9, and there'll be some more we're looking at in the next couple of classes for sure. And even if we can get guys to walk on, get guys to walk on the team and that are going to, stay here and be proud and give them that opportunity. And again, you got go out there and play in front of your family and build your fan base, but we'll definitely.
And I think that's the one thing that's the most exciting for these kids, And like I said, I got like 4 of them the other day, and they were fired up, and they said, "Yeah, we're going to walk on." I was like, "That's awesome." Yeah. A lot of times, a lot of these kids don't. They'll get offered, hey, we'll do 2-year type of thing or whatever, but what a lot of people don't realize is that they just can't afford it. They just can't afford to go. They have all the talent in the world. They may or may not be able to compete against, a real Division I player, but you don't know what's being on the field is going to come out. You don't know what's going to bring out of them. And I think these kids getting this opportunity. I mean, we've got some big boys here. Not only big, it's fast, strong.
We've seen so many examples of that. Who's that kid out of Rio Hondo? He walked on to A&M Kingsville back in '97. Robert Garza ended up playing.
Yeah, played for the Bears.
Played for the Bears,
right?
And probably one of the best centers in NFL history.
Yeah.
He was a walk-on.
Just neat opportunity. Yeah. That's where, and there's a lot of those stories, across the nation everywhere. But that's where, some of these guys that you give them that opportunity, and sometimes your body changes after graduation. Guys still hit growth spurts, but you'll see that every year. And we know we have a majority of our team this first year is walk-ons, and there's going to be several of those that earn scholarships, and guys that walked on are going to be kicking off in 498 days, so that's the fun part, to see those stories and see those guys that, they just had an opportunity. And then again, it goes back to that toughness and how they work and take advantage of that opportunity.
100%, man. I think a lot of these kids also don't, or a lot of these fans are finally, coming around, like George mentioned earlier. There was some, after y'all's first, announcement of the first recruiting class, like, oh, we thought it was going to be a much more Valley kids or whatever. And it's like, and I look at it and I'm like, don't you guys realize they're building a team? They're not just like, hey, we're going to get everybody from the Valley, guys. And I think more and more, I think the fans are realizing, like, hey, like, they're going to get the best that we have, but they're going to get the best that they can get from somewhere else.
It's one of the dumbest arguments I've heard people ask or talk about it. They're like, oh, the NFL is like, how many kids at Texas A&M are from College Station? How many kids that are playing at UT are from Austin? Like, come on, they're recruiting out. Like,
but I think it just did the fact that it's football.
Yeah.
I mean, and that just shows me that there's an argument. It's the passion's there.
Yeah.
The fan base is there. I mean, because it is football.
Yeah. And we'll always start here. We'll always start every year recruiting here. And if there's guys good enough, we want to keep them here. We
of course.
Up, Texas State or UTSA or anywhere else, we want them to stay here.
I see that across the board. It's not just football. I see your all's track and field coaches have been hitting District 4, our district for track and field. We produce some of the biggest throwers in Texas down here, and I see them out there. My son, he throws shot and disc, and I see them out there hitting up the juniors and seniors that are throwing these big bombs on discus and shot put already. And I'm like, wow, like they're serious. They're trying to grab these kids in before they get sucked up to Incarnate Wood or the other schools. Yeah.
I think the cool thing is that.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, no, you see it on the baseball field as well too right now, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of there's a few guys on from the Valley representing and doing well on the baseball field.
The other night with that freaking horrible UT beatdown, they got beat like a rented mule, man. What's his name? Edinburgh boy just laid the whooping on him.
And that kid Martin Vasquez from Sherland, 2 bombs, and one of them was no doubter, and then another Jaime Lopez from.
Are we talking about baseball right now?
No, we
didn't want to highlight the ass whooping that we gave the Longhorns.
No.
I did for a little while. I think
played T-ball. That's it.
Once I got into middle school, I just got to where it was so slow, and then really, as a competitor, you want a chance to compete. But in baseball, you could not be a factor in the game and it not be your fault. Whether they don't give you the right pitches to hit or they don't hit the ball your way. So you can go through a game and not do anything, and you can't control it.
But you did your job.
Yeah, but I wanted to contribute.
If your job was to get walked 3 times, that's your job.
And so that's what,
Are you arguing with the guest? Can you please?
The point of it was that there's talent in the Valley, and we're seeing it.
I was talking about baseball.
Let's go back to getting your job done.
Do you have any good questions?
No, well. Your question always comes up, right? So I'm gonna let you.
Someone actually asked my question.
Yeah, but I'm gonna let you. I'm not gonna take that from you. But
I told you.
But I do have I'm writing down some questions here, and one of the things I heard here was, Coach, you started UTSA, the football program up there, and now you're starting up another program. Like, maybe you can share some things that what are you looking for a startup, right? Like, what are things? It's very different from kind of going into an established program or a program with a positive or a negative track history. This is it's essentially an open slate, right?
Yeah.
And you're coming in here and you have the most influence on establishing the culture, the presidents, and really what the program may look like for the first couple of years. And so what are you looking for to say, this is what I want to achieve?
Yeah, and that's where when you get to start from scratch, you've set the foundation. We build that culture. We don't have to come in. It's not like taking over a job where you got to come in and change a culture or change a way of thinking. So we get to instill, and we've we're already having staff meetings and all this stuff about it's up to us what we make of this, and from the details, the mentality, the work, everything. We start from the beginning, and that's going to be who we are. So this first class, and then going back to UTSA, one of the things we did not realize until we got kids on campus when we got there is that first class, they're all freshmen. So they come in, they don't have these upperclassmen to show them how to do this, to show them how to practice, to do, so we had to be the leaders right off the bat as coaches. So a big component in this first recruiting class was looking for those leaders, those mature guys that can come in and almost act as upperclassmen right off the bat, that can buy into what you're doing. So that was a big piece, something different.
And that's through like the transfer portal, or
no? That's just in this first class coming in right now, because everything's going to be pretty much high school guys in this first practice year in the fall, because they're all redshirting. So when you have all freshmen, they don't know what to do. So we really made a point to go look for those mature guys from programs that kind of already function like colleges. They know how to meet, they know how to work, they know how to practice. So some of that stuff we don't have to teach them as much.
And plus, besides the difference from that with UTSA, you guys are actually starting off with stadium.
Yeah. Well, and facility, we had no facilities there. Like, we had nothing. We had we lived in a portable. The players, we converted a gym. There was like a little fenced in corner in the gym that was their locker room, and then another spot where meetings room, and another fence was equipment room, so that we housed out of an old gym. Had to drive to a high school stadium, 4 miles down the road to practice. So every day was a road trip. They had to pack up the locker room and move it out. I mean, it was just it was rough. So that was a different level of starting from scratch. And here, I mean, again, the plan that was put in place by Dr. Bailey and Chase Conk, and for the years before a coach was ever hired. The plan is so much better here, and you see, our own practice facility going up. You see our own stadium right off the bat, and not just facilities. I mean, they could have put up some portables and a little practice field, but we are, we're going to have some of the top facilities, the best in our conference for sure, but really at the FCS level, top of the nation. So again, hats off to administration and the work that's been done by a lot of people down here for years.
I did get a follow-up question to you, what you were just talking about, Coach, is if there's any, programs within the state that, where are those programs that operate like colleges right now? Where do you see those?
Well, I was just in one the other day, like your Smiths and Valleys. Now you're and several programs do, because a lot of guys too have college experience that come back, and then a lot of coaches get out and run their programs. But a lot of your top 5A and 6A programs that function, and just from the the day-to-day schedule of your lifting schedule, your meeting schedule, and being able to position meet and structuring your practice fast tempo like you do in colleges. So, but there's several of your top schools, which are your most, normally your most successful schools at the 5A, 6A level.
It's funny you mentioned that. I mean, I coach at 2 high schools, and you can see the difference. And they were both here in Edinburgh, and you can see the difference between the two. Where, you had thankfully we were given the ability to go watch UT, and we watched their practice.
Yeah.
And goddamn, like, it's on a buzzer, and there's a time and this and that. And at this high school, we did that.
Yeah.
There was horns blowing. It's, hey, we got to go to this
Not a lot
next thing. We got to go to this next one.
Yeah,
everything is fast. And when you have that kind of practice, it is a college level. And you're giving these kids that expectation of, hey, we're getting ready for the next level.
It's replicating the game.
Yeah.
Everything is like.
Yep.
Yeah, and one thing I think about that, I mean, if you talk about looking for those kind of programs, there's opportunity, especially where there's talent here in the Valley, right, to try to start establishing that framework, at least to get some of the Valley programs, at least the ones that are, the top programs that are consistently performing well, to start kind of establishing some fluency in those programs and start helping bring them along.
And that's another piece too to the program being down here, is they'll have the availability now. Those coaches can come visit our practices and watch our structure and maybe help pick up some things that can help them in their programs that they might not have had the opportunity to do.
You guys have anything like already set, like let's say a training or some type of?
They have 5, right?
They got
6
5 training things. They got a couple down in Lower Valley, a couple up here, and I believe one in Laredo. From what I
You mean
saw.
camps?
Correct.
Camps.
Yeah. So we'll do those are our prospect camps, looking for high school guys. But yeah, we're going to do one on each side of the valley in June and July.
No, but I mean coaching camp. Like coaching.
Coaching. Yeah. Once kind of we get guys in practice, everything's open. We've already had coaches that come meet with us, and we're discussing scheme and offense and defense. And so there's been coaches come by, and there's been several of those meetings over the past year already.
Yeah.
But once we start practicing, they'll be open to coaches and they'll be able to come watch and get anything they want.
So 2 things. One's more of a statement, another one's more of a question. But one thing that I've noticed is that, everyone always, Valley football, the second we leave, north of Corpus, that's it. But one thing that I've noticed is that it's really stepping up the game on the high school level. Like, it's no more this, like, mom and pop, I'm buddies with this school board member, so I'm going to get this job. Like, they're actually looking at having competing football programs down here. And we're starting to see that, and a lot of that's due to UTRGV. Yeah. So kudos. I think it's going to actually elevate Valley football in general, which, we had our heydays, and I think our best days are actually in front of us. But the other question is, it's probably going to be no, but are you going to make us wait all the way to this fall to see what type of offensive and defensive schemes you have, or can you give us some insight?
A simple no will do.
Option,
Next question, please.
Next question.
Come on, man. Everyone wants to know.
Now we'll be, that's the beauty of having the year. Again, we set up our system offensively and defensively. We'll be multiple, but have the ability to tailor fit our personnel. Because again, we still got to tailor fit to we're going to be able to recruit 2-3 tight ends, and but we'll recruit every position. But offensively, I've always been involved in the offense and been a coordinator, so I'll be involved on the offensive side as well. But multiple, anything you see really, if you watch Texas and Alabama and Oklahoma, a lot of the same stuff, multiple in and out of personnels, mix in some pro style stuff with your splits and in receiver game, but a lot of movement, but definitely your RPO game, your multiple spread is how we call it, but being able to to be up tempo and
so high action football pretty much.
Hope so. It depends.
High scoring, UTRGV.
Depends on the personnel.
Same thing defensively. Being able to.
We're selling out the stadium. We might as well score 70 points every game.
17-9. Oh no, that's baseball. My bad.
17-9 was baseball against the Longhorns.
It's got to score more than the baseball team.
Hey, Coach, go back real quick for our viewers. You said you're doing camps for prospects.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, so those will be for the high school guys to so we still don't have our practice facility ready yet, so we'll do one at Edinburgh Stadium in June, and then one in San Benito again to get the whole other side of the valley as well, and then come back in July. We'll do another one in Edinburgh and one in Harlingen.
Is it going to be like combine style where they have like 40 shuffle, bench, squat, stuff like that?
Everything's just on the field.
Okay.
We'll do some testing stuff, and then it'll be position specific and work with your position coach and give some fundamentals, and then let them compete a little bit.
Is that going to be open to the public by any chance?
Sure.
Oh, hell yeah. I'd love to go watch that.
Can an athlete go in and do the San Benito and then do the Edinburgh one?
Yeah.
Hey, we should do a podcast during that.
Oh,
yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah, they can do as many as they want.
Podcast?
You're talking about the camp, dude.
We can do both. We can make them up. The answer is yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Gosh.
That's awesome.
Now, I mean, are you a hands-on type of coach? And what I mean by that is, obviously as a head coach, you have your coordinators. Are you one of the ones who says, "Hey, I'm going to be calling these plays," or are you giving these guys that?
I've called it for like the past 15 years. I love it. We'll see how it goes over the practice year. I can call it. I don't have to. We got Mike Schultz called it for several years too, at TCU in Illinois and a lot of places. So we'll see. I don't know. I just love it. I think I can't be one of those head coaches that just doesn't do anything. I mean, I'm going to be coaching part of the punt team. I'm going to be coaching part of the kickoff team. I'm going to have, I'll be coaching.
It has to be
involved with quarterbacks and go over there and help the defense. And I love coaching kids and being around it. So I just don't see myself.
It has to be hard, not just to sit back and watch somebody else do that. Again, obviously you put the right people in the right places, but at the same time, you know what you're doing. So.
Well, and it goes back to that Little League baseball mentality. You having a chance to contribute. Being able to do something. And obviously, as a head coach, you have to. Most of the time in your games, you've got to handle decisions and game situations and time management and all that stuff as well. I've done at the high school level, was able to do that and call plays. So you do have the experience managing that. But
awesome.
I've noticed that as recruiting classes that you guys got some, which is surprising. You guys got some meat already for your O-line and D-line.
I know.
Not just meat, but fast meat on top of that. Yeah. I was looking into some of these kids, and, they're already you're talking about 310-pound dudes that are already 5 flat and under. I'm like,
got a couple 6'6", 6'7" guys, too. I was worried about us being able to get some big guys like that. But there's again, there's a lot available. There was a lot of high school kids available that aren't getting recruited because of the transfer portal at the FBS level that we were able to find some good ones.
That's right.
Well, Coach, in case you have not noticed, to your right, you have a retired NFL star center. Has got one more year of eligibility. So
You don't know how many times I've been asked this question.
Do you know Taylor Swift?
Coach.
All right, we're taking a quick pause here, man. And the only reason we're going to do that is
Cupcakes.
we were relax, man. We were able to, be
got a bulk
blessed
up
with
for
this
UTRGV
Texas
football.
cakes. I mean, this was one of my ex-students, man. And it was really, really a really cool surprise today for her to come in, and she saw that we were going to have you on here. She said, "Hey, I'm going to go ahead and bring her up by a few cupcakes, and we're going to go ahead and show this off here real quick."
Is this a rum floater on here? What is this?
I have no idea. I'm just going to taste it, and we're going to go from there. Sammy, you want to come and get one for you? And Sam?
Dude, this is pumpkin.
Are they all the same, or are they all different,
I have
or
no idea.
what
I'm
is
just,
it?
I'm just eating one.
All right.
To find out.
Yeah. I ain't going to taste all of them.
Oh, hey, wait, we're still live, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Shit.
You all right?
No, I'm on this stupid carnivore diet, and
Well,
Brianna
you-
White's probably watching.
No,
this.
there's meat in it.
Yeah. I'm sure there's meat.
It's stuff with meat.
Oh, goddamn.
I don't know.
where's this from again? Texas.
Texas cake.
Big.
Texas.
I am. I used to get that a lot.
What,
Those are
what,
good.
what do y'all think?
All good.
Goddamn.
I think
Where
Geor- I think
where they located out of?
I don't know, George. You want to clean
I
your
think George's beard really loved it too.
Gotta go back in for another one.
Yeah, he's gonna save it for
My
like.
daughter
Hey,
calls
where
it.
are they from? Where's this?
Damn it.
They're
Do
from
we have a
Edinburgh.
napkin?
Edinburgh?
They're from Edinburgh. She actually competed. There was a competition they were having. Man, I know she's gonna kill me for not knowing the whole logistics behind it, but I know she made top 2, top 3, or maybe even won it. It was a competition that was one of the guys that has these big. Was that a cake boss, whatever? I think he was involved in it somehow. Mm-hmm. But she did really well. And again, she was my student. She's one of my friends, actually, daughter.
How old are you?
Me? I'm 61.
You're
Yeah,
61?
because yeah.
42.
Well,
Oh, dang.
he plays Rip in Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Who's that?
So that's
No. My wife would disagree.
I thought I seen this guy somewhere.
that's right.
Brokeback
So-
Mountain.
But again, hey, this is really, really
stuff.
good. Thank
Good
you so
stuff.
much,
Texas
Mickey.
take-
I really appreciate it.
No,
And,
seriously,
Texas
what are these?
cake.
Are these like rum shooters?
I don't know. You want to?
That's some good stuff.
I need to
It
try
really
one.
is.
It was
I
really
don't
good
know what
stuff.
it is.
It was good.
Hey, Coach. On that note, have you tasted that barbecue sauce, that vaquero one?
I have not yet.
Oh wow.
The hot sauce. I love the hot sauce.
This, no, he cannot. He's such a bitch. Come on. He can't no, I'm sorry, Fabian, dude. I can't get over this. I'm the white boy here, and you cannot handle
Dude,
any heat.
I have not
No,
eaten heat
no,
ever.
you're
ever.
not the only white boy here.
Oh yeah, damn it! I'm not the only choking.
I'm half.
Damn it, I'm half.
Oh, hey.
There you go.
Coaches have. Coaches have.
Doesn't count.
I'm half.
But again, no, thank you so much, Mickey. I really appreciate you coming by for that.
Ben, Alyssa's saying that you got to take her some cupcakes. All right. So.
Oh dang! All right.
Oh, damn.
If there's any left,
You can take. I have one here that's halfway eaten. So.
They are. That is rum, dude. That's badass.
Is it?
Yeah.
Texas cake.
I think I tasted it.
Go get your cupcakes. They're really good. They're excellent, actually.
I didn't know.
While you guys are working on that, I mean,
didn't squeeze it in
one of the, I guess one of the questions here, it kind of stems off that initial question here around like a new program, a starting program. But I'm an Aggie, went to A&M, right? And you talk about like the 12th man, and a series of traditions behind the university, right? And every university has a set of traditions, if you will.
Yeah.
As a startup, you don't have that, so you maybe have some influence in trying to determine what those might look like. So what, in your thoughts, what would be a cool type of tradition that we could help promote and make happen?
I don't know. That we've kind of thought about that, but do you try to instill some, or you just kind of let things develop, between the student body and the fans and the team? Going back to the 12th man, I'd love to get to a point where we'd have like a kickoff team made up of all Valley kids or something. Something where this group gets on the field and everyone's everyone gets on their feet because it's local dudes just, sprinting down there. So, things like that of just looking for ways. But again, I think they'll have to kind of develop. But that would be something cool we thought about.
Because it is obvious. And again, obviously football and baseball are way two different things. But when you have the local guy get up to bat, man, the way the crowd erupts is crazy. Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, they're getting that support because their families here, and most of their families here, and most Hispanics have about 80 kids. And
well, no, but here's the thing is that so I've been going to baseball games for years and years now here, even when it was Pan Am, and we never had crowds like this.
Yeah.
So for baseball, this is almost new as well.
Oh yeah.
And I think that the coaches, the players, I mean everybody, they embrace all this, including the fans.
It's a culture, man. It's
so.
And I think too, just in coming in over a year, but again, it goes back to our administration and what they're doing and the facilities they're building across the board for athletics, but how they're their advertisement, the way they're getting people to come to these games, everything they're doing from every sport. I know a lot of people talk about football, but they're doing a bunch for every sport, and I think they do a great job, and probably don't get the credit they deserve for what they do in the communities and getting fans involved and the different theme nights that get people excited. And heck, they already got T-shirts for this last game they're printing for tomorrow's game. I mean, the things they think of, they work around the clock too, and hats off to. Again, to our athletic department and that piece, because they're always behind the scenes. They put on the show and work their tails off to get people to the game. So
you're not lying about your all social media department. That's not a day that goes by that my Instagram or Facebook's not flooded with UTRGV athletics and baseball.
It's free
football,
advertisement, man.
It's amazing. They're definitely on.
Oh, by the way, the men's tennis,
the WAC tournament down there in
the WAC
Harlingen.
tournament, yeah, and they made the semifinals, I believe it is today.
Yeah,
so
good.
Shout out to them. Good job, guys.
Now I know, like I said, when we had Coach Matlock, he had, something that really, kind of stuck with me was that whole culture. He had that, the ABCs that he had. Is there something that you guys?
Do you remember the ABCs?
I do. I went past
what you got.
I know that obviously we have to instill something to these kids. We have to have a culture. Is there something that you have that that obviously you're gonna put up on a wall or something and say, hey, this is what we are?
Yeah, and that's if you follow us, you probably see everywhere in our program "Win Today," and that's not just a hashtag or a slogan, but for us it's our model. We have a pyramid model that every piece of our culture falls into, and the "Win Today" it's a mentality, and it's a mentality to wake up every day with your tail wagging, and no matter what's in front of you, to attack it and be the best you can be every day. And the biggest parts of our culture, and our foundation is our core values fit right into our name, UTRGV. Unity, trust, respect, growth, vision. Those are our core values, and our 3 team goals. We want to graduate kids, from UTRGV. That's what we want. We want to. That's why they're here, to get the college degree. We want to develop them personally. Develop men. We don't just want to graduate athletes. We want to graduate bosses and leaders and good husbands and good fathers. So that goes on to us. And what we do in our program every day and how we model. And goal number 3 is to compete for championships. And the 2 biggest pieces of our pyramid are competition. Again, going back to competing, always competing no matter what you're doing. And again, it's a mindset.
Yeah.
And having the ability every day, no matter what you're doing, you can just do it to get by, or you can do it the best you can. And that's not just for athletics, but life. And then the biggest link is that mental toughness. And again, that mindset to how you react, how you respond, how you attack things. And the simplest way to put it is attacking hard things and loving to do hard things. Yeah. So all that goes into what we do on a daily basis and creating an environment that puts them in challenging situations mentally and physically, and then train them to respond with toughness. Train them to go harder and train that mind to push themselves and handle situations, not point fingers, not blame others, not quit when it gets hard. Learn to fight, learn to compete. So all of that, and at the piece, our goals we want to know every day, and that's what we talk about winning today is, you're gonna have all that no matter what you're doing every single day. You're gonna have an opportunity to compete. You're gonna have a job to do. Yeah. That's the bottom line. You're gonna have an opportunity to do it the best you can, or just get by. And then you're gonna have situations that come up that you're gonna have to learn to handle, and you're gonna have to do hard stuff. And knowing it's there and attacking it and that's what's gonna help us, be 1-0 at the end of every day.
I think that's going to be paramount. There's something that someone told me once before I went into a certain school, and it was just that, like, toughness can't be bought. You can't be set up for it. It has to be earned.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can get is toughness has to be earned. And, with what you're saying, your mom win today, I think that's going to go a long way with some of these kids. And I think it's going to be impactful. I still remember, little training mottos that we had from way back in the day, and it's still to this day, it's still thinking back to it. And it impacts you 30, 40 years later.
It's awesome the way you said it. You're developing, man. You're developing great fathers, and that's a character that you're developing. Yeah. I know when I coached those few years, that before we would break the huddle, it was 1 discipline, 2 character, and 3 district champs, and that stuck with me. And I was a coach. I wasn't even a player. But it goes back to what you're saying. You're developing the discipline. You're developing the character. The wins will come.
Right.
You develop that. You develop men. You develop kids with character and drive. The wins are gonna just stack. In regards to they're gonna come on their own. They're gonna be organic once you kind of grow this part.
Yeah.
And that's awesome, man. It's really, really good.
Do we got any more questions from viewers before we wrap it up?
No. I mean, so some of the questions I had here is we talked about a little bit here, kind of what the role the athletic departments had in trying to kind of compound the energy that's around there, right? So I think when football came, like, there was a lot of energy that came to it, right? And now, like, we're seeing like that energy like trickle off into like a lot of the other sports too. And so the athletic department has a lot on there, but maybe Coach, you could talk about kind of how you're interfacing with some of the other head coaches to try to figure out like what can we all do. The athletic department's doing their part of it, but as a coaches, what are things
they're seeing it. I think culture is contagious. It's like a virus, and I think they're saying that. And I've just seen him personally at different athletic events and everything like that, like the UT basketball game. I saw you out there, and then I've seen you at the baseball game a few times.
Oh yeah. Whenever I'm in town, so I'm out of town so much, but I love to watch our teams compete and watch our coaches coach, and I love and even if it's different sports, you can always pick up things and learn from other people. And but no, I love supporting our teams, and so. But we got good coaches, and I mean everyone's body. And you go out there and you see Lane Lord in the tent at the baseball games. You see everybody supporting everybody, and that goes back to Chase and who he's hired, and hiring that staff that's going to support each other. And but it's good, And we're talking with baseball coach and track coach because we bring in guys that have the ability. If they can go help out the track team, let's let them go help. We've got linebacker that we signed is throwing discus in the regional track meet. Tomorrow I'm going to go up and watch him tomorrow in San Antonio and a couple of guys. But, if there's guys that can help in another sport, again, it goes back to competition. I'd rather them competing in another sport than just lifting weights in off season. Go find a way to compete because that's going to make you better. So we've talked to our coaches of, again, working together and seeing if we can help each other out. That's
one thing I noticed too, man. You got a hard-hitting coaching staff. This isn't definitely not Pee-wee level, man. You got some big hitters up there.
I learned from some really good coaches that you hire people smarter than you, and I can definitely say I'm the worst coach in the building. We've hired some good dudes, and they're phenomenal coaches and great men.
How did you get some of these guys down here? Some of these guys were with some.
He brings them in for the tacos.
Actually, that's a good question. It's a legit
That's a good
question.
transition.
That's a good segue to the next question.
That's
a good segue to the next question. Here we go.
Go ahead and ask the.
No, wait. I got one more. The TCU coach. He is what's the name? Sorry, Schultz. First phone call after you get the job from Coach Schultz. What does that sound like?
What do you mean?
I mean, he called you. He must have called you already when you got the UTRGV job.
Oh yeah.
Okay, what does that sound like? Obviously, congratulations, but I mean, he must be super proud of you.
Don't fuck up.
No, I mean it was. There was a lot of guys pretty quick, but there's a lot of guys that are interested. He was like, hey, and some of these guys, there was a couple that reached out to me, and they were like, well, I'm interested in coming down there. And I never thought of that. I was like, dude, you're in a good place. I didn't think you'd come down here. And so, but they were interested in coming down and starting it. And but there was kind of a connection with everybody. So just like Schultz, he was the offense coordinator at TCU when I GA'd there.
Okay.
So I worked for him there. And then he was a head coach at Lamar. Was his last college job. So he's been a head coach in this league, in this division. So there's a lot of things I can gain from him from that aspect too. But, yeah, a couple of guys were like, hey, you tell me when, and I'm ready to go.
I'm sure there's a whole bunch of coaches that not only to say, hey, you know what, we're interested, but just call you just to say, hey, congratulations, you deserve this.
Oh yeah, when it went down, it took a couple of weeks to respond to every message and phone call, but it took a few weeks because there was a bunch of them. But again, that the coaching profession, there's it's a unique fraternity, and you get to know a lot of guys and make a lot of connections. But yeah, it was good. We got a bunch of good guys.
All right, George.
No, I got one. I got one.
Wait, George, hold your breath.
Just so you know, after every time I ask this question, I go check out the spot.
Oh, I know.
Like it's product research.
Yeah. Coach, just a quick question around like the recent transition from the WAC to the Southland Conference. Like, well, what impact does that have on the football program and the athletic department moving forward?
Oh, it's great. I think one the biggest thing, we're all in a familiar conference, because we would have been in a separate conference. We wouldn't have been in the WAC. We were going to be in the United, which is a totally different conference than the other sports. For us, I played in the Southland. I've coached in the Southland, and we've won some championships in the Southland, and so it's a good league. It's a fun league. It's great communities, and it's there's 5 in Texas and 4 in Louisiana. Obviously, travel's a lot better, and for us, for our recruits, now your families can go to every game. They don't just come to the home games because we're playing in Utah or Kentucky or wherever. Now we're playing in Texas and in Louisiana. So
Louisiana,
yeah,
New Orleans.
But all the you look at the history of McNeese's and all those schools in there and the state. It's all neat communities. I mean, and they're all similar to the Valley. You're going to go to McNeese, it's going to be sold out. They're going to be tailgating. They're going to be cussing at you when you get off the bus, and just the good old fashioned FCS atmosphere, and love it. So I'm excited. We're excited. Obviously, when we broke the news of the recruits, they're all fired up too because it's going to be a lot more local games.
George,
Go ahead, George.
Sure, everyone.
Yeah,
Everyone
so
good?
good.
Anything else?
Everyone good? Anything else?
Oh, wait. No, just joking.
All right, so we're finishing.
Didn't we have a question from a viewer?
Ben, dude.
Oh, yeah, the viewer
I've
was.
seen you run.
And that's
dude.
all the time we have.
All right, so this
Thanks
is
a
a
lot,
loaded
guys.
question. You can answer this wrong, just so you know.
Okay.
Being technically a Valley boy or a Bush boy or South Texas Bush boy.
not technically, he is.
Wait, born? Yeah. Okay, you're right. Leave me alone, dude. Where is the best place to go get breakfast tacos here in the Rio Grande Valley?
Whew, there's a lot of them. I guess the one we've kind of grown to because we've been going as a staff after our all coaches meetings. We've been hitting up Zamora's.
There you go.
Yeah,
They're big, they're full. They fill those things up, and they're really good.
Baby
one
and
on,
Stripes tacos, Laredo tacos.
The Samaros, which one? The one on
down on Dove.
The one on we go to the one up on 10th and
the one
Monte
that
Cristo up there.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a good one.
You're gonna have to go try that
The
out.
one on McCall is pretty good too.
Yeah, it's really good.
I got 3 of them, I think, or 4.
Coach, again, man, truly appreciate you taking a little bit of
thank
time,
y'all,
man.
man.
Thank you so much. Again, we look forward to seeing this. I mean, we're fired up for just football, man. It's a big deal. Again, the Valley it's never had this before. I think it's going to be, it's a very, on point, thing you guys say with Rally the Valley. I think y'all have done a hell of a job doing that, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much again.
Hey,
Excited
Coach,
to watch
what-
it grow and appreciate y'all support and everything, and what y'all do for us and the athletic department and really all the Valley. So appreciate you
sir.
guys.
One more thing, Coach. Tough for you. You're not going to be able to go and enjoy the tailgates with us. I mean, we'll take pictures for you and send them to you afterwards.
Depends how the
but-
game's going. I might be out there in the second half. If the game ain't going well, you might.
Or it's going really well. So.
What happens
Might
at the
see me in the
baseball
tent.
tailgate, though? All the kids, all the players are coming up to the fence. Like, looking for
Yeah,
the
that's
coach.
right. That's right.
Hey, like
Yeah,
you're
give me a
grabbing
taco.
tacos
Give me a
before
taco.
the game.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're excited and pumped about that
Yeah.
and the whole tailgating experience
Yeah.
and getting when that other team shows up,
Talking shit.
talking
Well,
smack.
the good news at some point, I'll retire. I won't be coaching, but the Valley's going to have football, and I will come tailgate at a UTRGV
There you go.
game.
There it is.
Yeah,
Sit
100%.
out there and drink some Los Vaqueros beer and watch the Vaqueros play football.
That's right. Guys, again, like we end the show every time, man. Whatever you all do on a daily basis, work or whatever it is, man, get those boots on, vaquero up. Guys, bees up, guys.
He's up.
Ray.